guys? Welcome to another episode. We're excited to be back with you all. And we're going to be talking about cancel culture tonight. And I picked this topic because it's very toxic. And it was toxic from the beginning, but it's worse now because white people have caught on to cancel culture. And we don't even have a good handle on it. And I really think that is something we need to talk about so we can figure out, first of all, where it came from, who told these people that they were the authority in cancel culture, and put it to bed once for all, because we're out here canceling stuff, and I don't really think we understand what we're canceling or why. It's just no rhyme or reason to cancel culture, and it's just toxic, and it takes off just like anything. You strike a match, all it takes is a little bit, and it just kind of it explodes. The next thing you know, you got one thing after another, and it's just like you get these terms that people hear, but they don't really fully understand what it means. And now you just canceling everything. I'm gonna cancel lunch because lunch is officially canceled because I can't control myself, and it's causing me to eat too much and gain weight. So lunch is officially canceled. Oh, really? But that's the kind of crazy mentality that's following cancel culture right now. And it's, like I said, it's really toxic. And I wanted us to really have a conversation about cancel culture and really get into what it is not, so we can kind of really address it as something that, of course, Black people started. I don't really know if it started on Twitter, and our resident Twitter person is late, Forrest Towns.
Resident Twitter person, though. I can't.
We listen. Towns and I are old school Twitter people from when Twitter first started. Well, he's been on longer than I have. With Black Twitter is something. And so I don't know if cancel culture started with Black Twitter so much as it was something that's been around. It can caught on to it, but it's out of hand. It's just really out of hand. So you guys kind of chime in and tell me your thoughts on cancel culture. And no, Jeff, I know you got some strong opinions about it for sure, because we be on Twitter.
Although I'm not like these celebrities and stuff, people try to cancel me all the time. So it's not even crazy. I'm gonna just say this and then we can get into it. I just think that we're in a time where people don't know how to properly disagree. So due to that, they sorry, I'm trying to share it. I apologize.
I know, it's all right.
Due to that, people just dismiss it because they don't know how to address it. Right. And some of my favorite artists, others have suffered from the same plight. But I'm gonna just say this: anyone that we canceled, other than Chrisette Michele, has continued to still win. And then there's some people that if we're going to cancel for real, we don't cancel them, like Miss Cardi B. So we'll get to that.
I wonder if cancel culture is more of a pop culture thing than it is anything else. I don't know. What do you, Troy? What do you think?
What do I think? I'm not.
What is the voice?
I'm not. I'm not one for opinions.
Right.
First and foremost, I do want to say, Epiphany, you are looking extra lovely this evening. I just want to throw it out there. You are looking very awesome. And Dr. H, that picture the other day, your hair was looking all glossy.
Yes, you looked amazing. But you were
doing it now. You've been doing it. I just haven't said my little shady self undercover, trying to be like, okay, Dr. H, I see you. I'm gonna have to have a competition. I'm gonna have to something. Looking better than me, boo.
Go ahead. One other reminder, Jeff, when you share these in Ringside, you gotta always put Ringside admin approved, just for everybody else's edification.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Just
I didn't know. I know now. Well, there's a list that I go through. So, but I got you. I'll make special considerations for Ringside.
Thank you.
I've been talking a lot more too. If I've had more time now on my hands. So
good. We want
participation. We'll talk about offline, but you are funny how you let people know who don't know. Like I said, people like to try to cancel and tell you you're wrong or ignorant. You get them together really professionally. I like that.
Well, I mean,
so we're excited to be back with you all.
Like I said, people try to cancel and tell you you're wrong.
Sorry.
oh, it's all good. In terms of cancel culture, the only thing I would disagree, Dr. H, is that it's pop culture is something new, because cancel culture has been around, for the longest. I think Montgomery Bus Boycott is an example that some people could see as cancel culture. Some people, regardless if it's a business, if it's a service or a celebrity, if people feel like this person is being additionally disrespectful or doesn't acknowledge their humanity, or so on and so forth, people do have that right. I mean, people have canceled me over ringside. People have definitely over, after 10 years, it's definitely been a slew of people that didn't like either my opinion or didn't like the tone of ringside or didn't like, the tenor of the debate. And people have sent me, I received all kind of nasty inbox messages, telling me they don't like ringside or they don't like me.
Then leave. Like that song said, then leave.
Oh yeah,
that's what I don't understand.
I invite people to leave. I say, look,
we'll be fine.
Yeah, we're good. I mean, I'm not going to chase you down. I'm not going to beg you to stay. If it's not your cup of tea, it's fine. As far as people canceling celebrities, things like that, I'm guilty of that because, only because at the end of the day, everyone has their own set of values and beliefs. And if someone has a certain value and belief that you don't get, you don't understand, you can't empathize or sympathize, that's okay, but that's still their set of values, and their values are important to them. So if they have, there's an artist out there that is just acting a damn fool, and this is someone that prior to them acting a fool, they were buying their music or supporting their movies or doing whatever. Now they're doing things like, okay, this person does not respect my humanity. This person obviously is whatever. It's their prerogative to say, you know what, I don't want to support you. I don't want to give money to someone who feels a certain kind of way about me. About me as a man, as an African American, as a whatever I am. This person has a negative or dim view about me, my culture, my history. So why would I in turn reward them by patronizing their movies, music, giving money, whatever. So everyone, at the end of the day, we can't always expect our values to align with the next person.
Right.
Their values are there, whatever. And if there's a celebrity, they say, you know what, I'm not fucking with you anymore because you said ABC, you said X, Y, and Z, that totally is incongruent with my belief structure, my values, then I really just can't fuck with you anymore. Same thing with the bus. If you're telling me that as a Black person, I can't sit anywhere on the bus, or even if I do sit on the bus, I have to endure prejudice and racial slurs from the bus driver or the company of the bus, then guess what? I'm not going to take your bus anymore. I'll just walk. And that's just my prerogative, and people are doing that. So this isn't anything new. People have been canceling businesses. That whole don't buy where you can't be hired. That was cancel culture. It's like, okay, if you don't want to acknowledge me, that's cool. Then don't acknowledge my money. Don't acknowledge my views. It is what it is.
Right. I think my point is, what you said is what I think Tanya is saying here. I think there's a way to respectfully disagree, but I think cancel culture has become so toxic. I think that's my concern, is that it's become so toxic that we'll cancel anything for no reason. Like I said, like I literally see stuff like, okay, we're going to cancel lunch. Why is lunch canceled? You know what I mean? Rather than really, listen, it's ignorant stuff out here because people don't understand. They hear cancel culture and don't really understand, first of all, the origins of cancel culture. And so I agree with Tanya. Like, listen, if I don't agree with your mess, then absolutely you have to protect your space and your peace, and not, I don't beg nobody to take my money. So if you're disrespectful to me, then yeah, I'll take my money somewhere. If you can't respectfully agree to disagree, this is not the place for you. You know what I mean? So I completely agree with it. There's no need, and I'm definitely not gonna let anybody make money off of me if you can't treat me like a human being. I think what I'm looking at as far as cancel culture is how it's become toxic, and we're just canceling stuff just for the sake of canceling it. Because I understand what you're saying. Like, okay, there are people who didn't agree with the Montgomery Bus Boycott or any of them. You know what I mean? So I get that part. But I think cancel culture has become so toxic. But it's like Jeff said in the beginning, if you don't agree, then just leave. Don't become this toxic version and trash. And I think this is where cancel culture turns left, because we can't just leave. So if somebody disagrees with you in ringside, just respectfully leave. Don't leave and trash ringside.
No, Doctor, but that's the thing. I'm used to it. There are at least 2 that I know of, probably more, anti-ringside private groups on Facebook that I know about. There's a group. I'm not going to clout chase and put their name out there.
Yeah, don't give them no play. They don't deserve it.
But there's definitely a group that I know of that was created by people that I kicked out of ringside.
Oh,
and
Lord.
It's created.
Red has the same problem too. Don't feel
bad. See, then you know people out there.
Oh yeah.
You don't really.
And let me guess, they steal your post, don't they? And reword.
They have before. They've stolen the wording and verbiage of my rules and regs and things like that. And it just makes you look at people like, okay, how are you in your 30s and 40s this goddamn petty or this damn butthurt?
Because they old, dried up, and miserable. They're old, dried up, and miserable. Real quick, I want to say this before we get off this topic. You guys joked about lunch being canceled. There are a lot of white conservatives in Texas and places that I know that actually, when Michelle Obama started that lunch program, they actually took their kids out of school lunches, or made their own lunch, and had a thing called Cancel Michelle's Lunch.
Yeah,
seriously, that you joke, but that actually happened. It's not just.
So what did they do to replace it?
Well,
did they replace the lunch, or
no? They just made their own. And if
like
about
that, let me so your resident educator can speak on that, because now in certain, like, DC is not a state, so we'll just act like it is for a second. Right. So in DC, they have money, or the money is properly or appropriately allocated for them to have, like, chefs. Like, one of the schools I worked at had an actual chef that made things fresh. Okay.
What? And this is in DC?
Mm-hmm. In a public school. And they would, like, literally make things from scratch, like the cauliflower mash, like everything would be made fresh. So it would meet the guidelines of the calorie intake. You go 30 minutes down the road with no traffic to Baltimore, and you're gonna see a piece of bread. You're gonna see just one piece of pizza for someone who's 16 years old. That's not enough calories. And I think that it was well intentioned, but I don't think that she thought of growing children that didn't have food at home. There's all these different factors.
It was how it was executed. It wasn't executed equally across.
And there were states that were reallocating the funds for school lunch. So I agree. I honestly did agree with it, because I'm like, not every school system appropriately allocates money for lunch, nor do they have the resources to do that, or even be able to hire somebody like a chef. Why would a chef necessarily want to work in a school cafeteria?
Because the county
work in a restaurant and make $150 plus a year.
Because in the county, in the public school system, chefs make more because they subsidies and stuff. It depends on which ones, but some of them they do. Some of them.
Where I'm saying a public
Fridays. Let's be real.
But I think, okay, let's get back on topic though. I think that, I think the whole point is that cancel culture has become so toxic that it's gone from what it was okay, I'm gonna cancel from a personal perspective of, like what Tanya and Troy was saying is, listen, I don't agree with this, I'm not gonna support it. That's okay. To now we're canceling whole moves. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're gonna cancel, like I said, I made a joke about canceling lunch or whatever, but people have all kinds of stuff with that. I don't think people have a rhyme or reason to cancel. Like, everything is canceled. Oh, she's canceled. He's canceled. This is canceled. Shoes are canceled. Football's canceled. Hockey's canceled. Everything is canceled. And it's just like, when do we stop?
So I'm gonna say this, like, for instance, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm not being biased because I'm a Kanye fan, but The whole slavery is a choice thing. That's what really was bad. Everyone got mad over a headline. They did not. That was a headline. And Kim K himself, everyone explained that he meant it in a sense of mental slavery about us forgiving too easily. But everyone took one line and they went on him for 3 weeks. I was like, okay, either y'all have nothing else to talk about, or
3 weeks is ridiculous. It was insane.
And guess what? He dropped an album and went platinum in 2 days. So anyway, but that's why I laughed and said you guys are canceling him, and he's still winning.
Well, let me react to that, because I had a debate with my brother about this, because Kanye, I'm definitely, for me, just, to Jeffrey's point, I actually did listen more into some of the things he was saying.
But most people talk about did not. That's my point. Like I told people, explain it to me, and they couldn't. They just said, "Oh, that's ignorant." I said, "Would you know what he's meant?" They said, "We don't want that." You're mimicking what you're seeing people post.
Right. You're canceling before you have an understanding.
That I don't agree when people do that. It's like you have to, there are people out there that don't delve deeper or don't do research or don't read the entire story. But for those that do, they read the story, they try to give Kanye the benefit of the doubt, and they're still not feeling it. And it's like, well, you know what? I can't really rock with you like that. And for me, it was a case of, it's not just one statement. I'm not going to, for the most part, I'm not going to cancel someone because of just one thing. But if it's a series, or if I see a pattern, or if I see a mindset, then it's like, you know what? I may not go out there and make billboards and rustle up some parades, because at the end of the day, like Jeffrey said, me saying that I may not listen to Kanye, I know Kanye gonna be rich no matter what. He's gonna get money. And I'm like, okay, get your money. You may not get my money, but I do, as Kanye is an international phenomenon, phenom. He's not going to be.
Here's my thing, Troy, and this is why I have a problem with cancel culture. A lot of times, especially when it comes to Black people, because people have gotten upset with me for being outspoken or speaking everyone doesn't agree with, including Mr. Horace, who got on me about a Michael Jackson comment and a comment I made earlier. You're gonna stop trying to bait me on Twitter, ain't gonna work. But I'm not sensitive, so I take it in stride and I just go, okay, we can agree to disagree, whatever, and I laugh about it. But others will block and get mad.
Right.
But in my case, I also believe that we should embrace people challenging for a different. Sorry, everyone. And I won't lesson, but even Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois. If it was today's time, people would take sides and cancel both of them.
Right.
I hate to say it.
They would, because they have two opposing views.
But back in those days, it was okay. Everyone was working together to a common cause. We don't do that no more. And that's why we're so divided. And guess what group wants Black people oppressed? That's how they get us. They divide us.
Well, I'll cite another example, and I'm not disagreeing with that whatsoever. I'm not. It's another big one that was really big is you have people that all of a sudden not listening or playing R. Kelly anymore because of everything that's come out. So for me having an opinion about R. Kelly and the things that he's done, been alleged doing, whatever, I may have a difference of opinion with a young lady who has been a victim of sexual assault or trauma or anything similar to what he's been alleged. So I can't, from my standpoint, I can't tell a woman who's gone through similar instances like, you're wrong for no longer listening to R. Kelly. R. Kelly is the king of R&B. He made 12 Play. He made TP. He made all this. He made all these baby performances. How do you
Troy, we can't hear you because of your static.
Damn it.
Yeah, the static just took over.
Take your headphones out. Take the headphones off.
I did.
Why don't you have wireless headphones? You should have wireless.
Take the headphones off.
It's 2020.
The first show you did better without the headphones.
Yeah, but he can't hear us sometimes. That's why.
Where's the black headphones? Ah, there they are.
There we go. I think those are the ones that work. But yeah, Horace, while he's getting it together, Marcus has a great point here. He says, is cancel culture actually toxic, or is it white mainstream media trying to make it into a toxic thing? Like Troy said, we've been canceling people in businesses, but the media makes it out to be something brand new that is a danger to society. what do we think? And I think that sometimes, yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes the media definitely hypes it up. And by media, it's not always just mainstream media. Right now, what's really hyping and taking cancel culture over the edge into that next space of where it is toxic is social media, because that's where it's happening so much more. And it's really taking it there. And I see it a lot, mostly on Twitter. It's really insane on Twitter.
I am so glad I'm not on Twitter.
Hey, yes, God, these black headphones are the ones you need to use all the time. Bye bye.
Y'all hear me? Am I clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah, I've heard so much stuff. I'm so glad I'm not on Twitter like that. I've heard Twitter is worse than Facebook, and I'm like, if it's worse than Facebook, I don't need to be on there.
Black Twitter people can say whatever. Another animal, but black Twitter be going in.
Yes,
it's just Twitter.
Well, I mean, we're talking about cancel culture. I just saw this today. I don't know, and I've seen diverse opinions about Kim Kardashian and a few other celebrities doing a boycott of Facebook, what was it, Instagram? Yeah, Facebook.
24 hours to stop.
Right. And it's like, you know what, at the end of the day, that is their prerogative. If they say, look, we're not feeling Facebook's allowance of misinformation and, you know, hate information, stuff like that. If they choose to just go dark for 24 hours or however long they want to, that is their prerogative. We don't have to agree with it. We don't have to understand it.
Correct.
But at the end of the day,
it's consider that toxic. I really don't consider that. I think that's.
Oh, you should have seen some. You should have seen some of the comments.
Well, yeah, but you know, they're taking a stand because I first saw it on Michael B. Jordan's page on his Instagram. But he had the hate. He had the Stop Hate logo, and he actually gave a full explanation about why he's going. So it's like, okay, so y'all are going to basically starve the platform, which, you know, they make money off of the number of users and all that stuff, and that's how they collect data and all that kind of stuff. So I get it, but, you know, on the other hand, on Twitter, they were like 24 whole hours. What's that going to do? So I think that there was...
I agree with that. I saw a handful of people saying that, like...
They do it for a week?
Right. I mean, I saw people saying, okay, you're just going dark for 24 hours. Okay, what's that going to do? I don't know. You know, it's kind of like, but people criticize LeBron James when they didn't play that one game, and they were like, okay, you just didn't play one game.
That's ridiculous. Well, I don't like LeBron anyway, but that's because on a competitor note, I don't like him. But he's a great basketball player. People don't know, just like I don't like Obama, but I don't sit here and act like he's a horrible person.
Right.
You know, but some people will okay, let's talk about this one. People who might support certain politicians. I won't say certain names because it's on both sides.
Right.
Who cut their friends off or will chastise them for it. It's not that serious. That's a form of cancel culture too. And
yeah, absolutely. It's not that serious to me though. So, but
if somebody likes a certain there's a politician in Texas that I really hated that did a lot of anger. That did a lot of unmute yourself, Horace. There you go. That did a lot of stuff to cause harm to myself and my family and stuff. And people support them. They didn't go through the same plight, so I can't expect them to understand. That doesn't mean to say, "Oh, you support this person, and I'm done with you." That's silly. I don't understand that.
I agree with Reginald. People don't know how to separate facts and emotion, and they don't. And I think that's how cancel culture has gotten to be so toxic, because you can make a decision to not support something without being disrespectful and hateful, and just now everything is canceled. That doesn't make any sense. But I want to hear from Horace and Piff on this as it relates to your thoughts on cancel culture and, you know, how it's gotten from where it used to be. Like Troy said, cancel culture is not new. We've been doing, if you look at it in terms of the Montgomery Bus Boycott and all of the things that we do when we do blackouts, when we, you know, support, you know, we stop supporting certain things for a cause or for a reason, that's still considered cancel culture. But I think what was
that date? It was 2019, and it was either this year or last year. What was that date where it was all over social media, like nobody buy anything?
Yeah, that we've done the gas thing where you don't buy gas for 24 hours. Like all of that, we've done all of that so many different times before. But I'm just, it's just kind of like now it's just beyond toxic. It's just like, well, what's the point? What's driving some of the cancel culture? that we see.
Well,
like I said, people out here canceling lunch, like for real.
Well, to Reginald's point, when he made the comment that people don't know how to separate facts from emotion, I think and that's true for some people, but then other people, once they certain emotions, it's like, okay, it's no different than, you have a certain person in the White House allegedly saying things about veterans and U.S. military. Now you have a lot of people saying, based on those comments, based on his record of saying inflammatory things about men and women of the military, now I don't want to support this certain person because, if people have to understand, words have consequences. The things you let come out of your mouth, it resonates with people. Some people it resonates in a good way. Some people it resonates in a bad way. And if it resonates with someone in a bad way and it stokes certain emotions, then they have the right to withdraw support. That's their God-given right. You can't do anything about that. It doesn't mean it definitely does not mean that you feel like, okay, because I'm withdrawing my support, they're going to be standing in line at the poorhouse or unemployment thing. They're just not going. Some people feel like me supporting someone is also co-signing or agreeing or endorsing. It's like, okay, you're going to continue saying what you're saying. You're going to continue doing what you're doing. You're just not going to have my support. The same way you have all these people who are Republicans and now saying they're going to vote for Biden, and they're saying with everything that this current president is doing, they feel complicit. They say,
I was on it. I was on them. I almost did.
It's like people, a lot of people are saying he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to be who he is. He's just not going to do it with my help. He's not going to do it with me backing him or supporting or justifying. So as far as I do agree with cancel culture. Cancel culture has been around. I think the only difference now is just it's on social media and now more people know about it. But it's a lot of things, but it definitely ain't new.
Right. Horace.
Hello, guys. Good evening.
Hola.
I would like to give my input, so bear with me for 60 seconds.
Lord Jesus.
With my experience as a political figure, I do want to speak on it because as one of the original creators of Black Twitter, for FYI guys, cancel culture is unique in this sense. The thing I have a problem with cancel culture is the fact that most of the people that in America traditional, we build people up just to knock them off, right? But the main thing about that is we create this image of knowing someone simply from if they're a singer, just from being a fan. If they're an actor, being a fan of their work, but you don't know those people. So when they do something that's in their character or their real life, then we get distraught and we want to cancel them. So were you really a fan? Because if you're a fan of their work, you have to be a fan of the person that they really are, because people go through real stuff in life. So Troy's point with R. Kelly, awful situation, but people, we're not going to listen to his music and all that stuff. But
which is impossible because he done wrote so much music. More than half the music on the radio.
I still listen, and I am unapologetic about it. I still listen.
So you listening to R. Kelly when you don't even know you listening to R. Kelly.
Right.
So to my point is, I think it's more of a shame on the people, because were you really rocking with those people from the get-go? Because again, we build people up. We live through people, not me, but people live through people. And then when they disappoint you, then you want to throw them away, which is, I think, is the shame of it all. So that's the problem I have with cancel culture.
The toxic part about cancel culture I'm talking about is, when it gets to the point where you don't know how to boundary separate. It's like Reginald said, it's about your emotions. I think people get so emotionally wrapped up into certain things that they just, I'm going to cancel it. Take a moment to think. Is it realistic?
No.
Is this really going to, and what is this going to do? How is this going to make an impact in this person's life in any way?
But let's be real too. Sometimes people post stuff just for likes. Do you know how many people
it's popular? You
know how many times I've seen people, just like I see, I won't say certain artist names, but let's take it away from music. I've seen stuff that wasn't there an incident with Uber donated to Trump or something a few years ago. And
it was just when the election
Papa
cycle
John's
started,
and
they were
Uber.
talking about Wendy's. It was a whole list. It was Wendy's, catered lunch, and
Pizza Hut,
this restaurant, Pizza Hut, and Panera Bread. I'm like, well, then y'all not gonna eat nowhere.
You already know where I'm going with this. And then even certain groups of people, Black people, LGBT community, whatever, Chick-fil-A and stuff, they will say I'm canceling.
Oh,
but
yeah, they canceled Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A sales like tripled.
So what happens is in Forever 21, remember the kid with the monkey shirt?
Yeah.
It was H&M.
H&M. It was an H&M.
H&M.
And guess what? I went to the mall 2 days later, and there was a line. And guess
what?
It was fake outrage. I think sometimes
it's fake outrage.
It's fake outrage, and it's like, are you really
okay?
Well, no. Well, let me say this. I think that there may be a misunderstanding as far as the intent or the motivation, because someone says that they're withdrawing support, from the outside looking in, you may think, okay, they're doing it so they can hurt this company's sales or this person. And actually, is like, no, if it hurts, okay, but if not, it just means that I don't want to be a part of it, because at the end of the day, regardless if it's a music artist, I don't care if it's Papa John's himself. I know, a lot of African Americans withdrew support for Papa John's because of his diehard support for Trump. But at the end of the day, it's like they know Papa John's, he's still gonna live in a mansion. His sales aren't going down, but people, regardless of the reason, people have it to where if they don't feel the same level of comfort, they don't feel the same level of connection or respect, they have that right. It doesn't mean that they're doing it because they definitely want to see this person, financially distraught. It may or may not happen. It just means, look, I just don't want to be on that side of the aisle. I don't want to be on that ship. What someone else does, if someone else wants to stay there, good for you. That's your choice. It just means it's a personal decision because of something that it may be something that is a touchy subject for me. It may not be a touchy subject for you, but maybe for me it's something touchy. So for me, I may not buy Papa John's, or I may not listen to R. Kelly, or I may not. I'm just using examples.
So a whole post and blog about it. You just do it yourself.
A lot of people are using it as platforms. What Jeff is saying. So it's not really that they're really canceling. They're doing it for to capitalize on it. Which that's how it becomes toxic. And I agree, like Reginald was saying, people have a fear of going against the grain, and a lot of times the outrage is just to get a discount because they capitalize on it. They're riding the backs of whole movements and what things are really about. But I want Piff to get in here and share her thoughts on cancel culture and what we've been talking about as it relates to just the two sides of cancel culture that we see. The one that really has a purpose behind it, where people really can explain why I've made a decision, not because it's that other people are doing it, but because I have a personal conviction, versus it's just for the internet because I'm canceling because the internet says do it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, this might infuriate some people, but this is just a thought. I don't feel like anybody needs to justify anything because we're all grown. So if you choose to do something because the internet's doing it, then that's still your choice. And here's the one great thing about making choices. You make your own choice and you live with them, whether someone else agrees with it or not. And I will tell you, I have my own certain type of cancel culture. Not that I say a whole lot to a whole lot of people about what I don't like or where not to shop or whatever, but there's a store that I have not shopped at for over 30 years because I was treated so bad. And
hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay. And I just won't shop there. Like, even if they have the last pair of shoes that I absolutely need, I'm not shopping there. I know all their subsidiaries. Like, I went deep. I looked at all their subsidiaries. Right. I made sure that I would never spend my coins at.
I don't blame you.
Maybe
deep sometimes too.
Can I ask what store it is? I think I know which one. Which store is it?
I'm not gonna say.
You have an impeccable style.
She can inbox you. She can text you, and you'll know. But no, I agree with you because I absolutely will go to that extent. I actually have a list of vendors that I will not do business with, even if they do business with this person, they automatically are off the list for me because if there's even a remote possibility that this vendor will get any money from me, that I won't do business with you. That's just to my extent because I ain't doing it.
I was young and I did my research, and it was like I was really treated horribly, but I was so angry, and I was, it is what it is, and even today,
so I get it.
I don't harbor any anger towards the store anymore because
I do with Comcast.
But
but you ain't got too many options.
Jeff, I know you shop at this store. But anyway, I don't.
The store you canceled?
Huh?
I shop at the store you canceled?
Oh, absolutely.
Macy's?
It's not Macy's because I shop at Macy's.
Okay. I'm not gonna say where I shop, but all my stores I shop at, 94% of them are online.
Well, yeah, and so like you saw me when I bought my Nikes, right? And I told you I got them from Nordstrom. So clearly it's not Nordstrom. It's not Nordstrom because it's been several years.
I know who it is. I got you.
The other thing is that, there's a silent cancel culture like what I do, where I have decided I'm not going to be treated rudely and browbeaten or whatever because a worker does this or that to me. And so I choose to silently cancel you. Now there's the outward one where it's like, I was wronged and we should do this and I don't agree with this person and their viewpoint or whatever. This is what I think we should do. Well, that all is putting it out there as a choice.
Right.
And if you can sit there and say it doesn't make sense, but if I really want go back to the Kanye West thing because I'm sitting and I'm watching this interview.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching this man school Kanye in such a way that it makes complete and total logical sense. And Kanye said nothing back. He had to wait hours or days or whatever, however long it took for him to respond, because that young man had an answer. Kanye did not have an answer for what he said, and that man did. And so when you have something that's said outwardly, and then you have
polarizing, because he's extremely polarizing,
and explain what you really meant. We all have those moments. I understand that, but you made a statement about something that everyone that wears this color, this pin, deals with on a daily basis. We're all gonna take pause and look at you sideways because what you just did does not make sense. I understand the cancel culture of Kanye. I understand why people do these things because they want to feel moved and they want to feel like they're being heard. And I said in a meeting, like a few weeks ago, I said riots are the scream that we have to be, like there are screams.
I agree with that.
And so if cancel culture is the scream for you to hear me, then hey, I'm gonna do it. I need you to hear me, and I need you to understand that what you're doing is not okay. Whether it's the silent one or the loud one, I just think it's all about choice, and it's all about perspective, and it's all about how you move in life. I move in a different type of way in life. Sometimes I yell at Forrest and sometimes I don't.
Hold on, Epiphany. Now, I will say this. I don't want to make this about Kanye West because there is a bias there. But I will say with that, the reason, just like me, if I've explained something already or I've apologized, I don't believe in apologize if I don't feel I was wrong. But if I've already explained something or whatever, and people keep hounding something down because they want viewership or whatever, I'm going to sit there and be quiet too, look at you like crazy. He explained it 3 different times. He tweeted about it 12 times. He made an entire live about it with Kim K. And that guy just kept pushing it. At that point, he was just like,
But you know what? Here's the beautiful thing about it, and I think it's beautiful. And I'm going to say, and I'm just going to stand in the middle of the road and allow people to be people, because when they show you who they are, that's really who they are, right? But I think the beautiful thing is that both of them could say what it is that was wrong in the moment. You know what I'm saying? In the moment, this is what was said. This is how it was. And this is how I'm explaining how you made me feel in this moment, and vice versa. And I think it's both right. This is the beauty of our country. We have the freedom of speech.
Yes, and people need to respect that. Why is that such a bad thing too?
I think that, I understand that we're talking about cancel culture, or canceling cancel culture, but I think cancel culture is here to stay.
Well, you know what? Let me say this, because at the end of the day, I agree with Tiffany 1,000%.
Somebody needs to fix it.
Is it me again?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not me.
It's not me, I promise. I don't know. It's just weird because it came out of nowhere. He wasn't even moving.
I can hear you guys. Can you?
Hold on. We gonna figure out this. Hold on.
It's one of them.
No, it ain't me.
Troy, I just muted Troy.
Troy, get it together.
It's Troy, it's you.
We about to get Troy.
You know what? You guys send me some money for those nice Bluetooth headphones.
We're gonna get you a deal with Pete.
I was gonna say Pete.
We're gonna get you something.
yeah, because Dr. Dre about to lose a lot of his money in the divorce, so maybe throw a few bucks or something.
AirPods.
Yeah. Damn, I had a thought.
But we can't hear your thought because it's still static. So you got those plugs.
Let me go get my other thing. I'll be right back.
There you go.
Just play with it.
We're gonna go to you. Horace, we're gonna go to you on that. I think that before we go to you, it's really about what Reginald said earlier. It's emotion. People don't know how to separate the two, and people do a lot of things for likes. They do it for they do it for the gram, they do it for the Vine, they do it for Twitter. They do it because it's polarizing. Cancel culture is toxic. It's when, like Piff just said, when it's not even a reason behind it. It's just polarizing. People do it because it's polarizing. They do it to get a rise out of folks. They do it for all the wrong reasons. It's not because they really have a purpose behind it. It's just like she said, listen, if I ain't trying to support you and buy from your store, that's cancel culture. But that's healthy because those are boundaries. Right. Versus this type of cancel culture for social media, that's just completely toxic because I'm just doing it to polarize people and get them caught up in their feelings. So now I'm creating a toxic environment where people are thriving off of nonsense and there's nothing beneficial to it. And I think that that's the problem. It's not even so much about there being, hey, freedom of, you have the absolute right to, I gotta switch you guys. I gotta add Troy to the right screen. You have the right to ask to spend your money where you want and to do certain things, but I think there's he just changed devices, I think. And so I think that one of the challenges is that you have to you got to know how to find that balance, and you got to know when you're being baited into cancel culture. When somebody's really doing it for a purpose, or when they're doing it to bait you because they're being polarizing. So, Horace, Mr.
I can't take you seriously, Troy. I'm sorry.
I done got promoted. Look at me. But Troy looking like Andrew Gillum on that interview yesterday.
No, I'm not. We ain't going there. No.
I
don't even have my flag on the play, but
Andrew, you know what you're talking for.
He's dealing with some stuff in the doghouse right now that no one can explain.
What did you say, Epiphany?
Are you taking that money, the Blue Men Group money, though?
He do right now. Tonight we're gonna call him Papa Smurf.
Blue lives matter. Troy's life matter.
Hey, blue is definitely not one of my favorite colors for some other Greek reasons, but I'm dealing with a very old school laptop right now.
Well, listen. Let me do what you guys pay me to do. Listen, I'm going to give you some fact.
Nobody who pays. It ain't me.
You might not got your check. Thanks, Dr. H. Listen,
I get
let's
my
be honest here. The majority of Americans, most of the people in this world are idiots. Let's be honest.
And we gave them all
a large, vast majority of people in America and around the world that are idiots.
And we gave them
to Jeff's point, a lot of people, the media now does what is shock culture, shock value.
That's what it's polarizing. It's to get you shock value. That's what it is.
So people won't even read the damn article. They'll read the headline and they'll create their own story off assumptions. That happens too much. Second of all, wait a minute, Trey. Second of all, I don't know. It's my pet peeve. It makes my skin crawl. We're in an era where everybody's screaming for attention. Look at me. That's why you have people trolling. You have someone that know they're a fan of this person go out and say the most ugliest comments just to get somebody to react to them. So this culture right now,
I do it sometimes just to show how ignorant. Whenever I post anything about Beyonce, you should see my mentions. Good God.
Yeah, Jeff, you deserve some of those.
Well, yesterday about Cardi and her divorce. Oh my gosh! And then I had all these people in rough marriages. How dare you? You don't understand. I do understand.
Jeff goes for kill shots. Jeff has 2,000 retweets. Jeff is savage sometimes.
No, I speak my mind, and black men can silence.
Well, you, my brother, know this.
I was going to say, another example. Well, you guys let me know if you guys think this is an example of cancel culture. What was it last year when Laura Ingram made those disparaging remarks about the Parkland survivors, and then she lost a slew of sponsors? There are a lot of businesses once she started.
They canceled her for a reason.
They canceled her for a reason. But she made some very disparaging comments about the Parkland survivors, and then next day, all you saw were all these visitors withdrawing their sponsorship of her show. So, is that an example of cancel culture? And if it is, do you feel it was justified?
Wait, can I ask Troy? A question first?
Go ahead.
Because on the other hand, there are a lot of people that have used that to her advantage, Troy. Remember when the guy from the radio called the girls nappy-headed hoes on live TV?
Yeah.
There have been people that have been on radio that have said stuff that got them fired, allegedly, right? And they lost all their endorsements. What happened quietly behind the scenes? They come back with bigger contracts and more sponsors. So a lot of people know how to use it. Just like when the media will say Usain Bolt contracted COVID, and they'll put a picture of Kevin Hart up. So they know how to use it against us. So I do agree what you're saying is cancel culture, but I also want to highlight how people know how to use it to work to their advantage.
Well, that's why I said as we're talking about cancel culture, because I saw an article on Twitter that were basically that white people have figured out, have learned about cancel culture. Not like Troy said, it's not new, but they've learned about it, and they're writing about cancel culture. And I find that very funny, because you're writing about something that you really don't have a full handle or understanding of. And I think it's just become, they're writing about cancel culture from a toxic perspective, because they're only writing about the one side. You're not writing about the side of cancel culture that's for a cause or purpose. Like in the example that Troy just shared with us about Laura Ingram, it was for me, I live here. I lived through the trauma of Parkland. I watched it play out on screen. If you live in South Florida, Horace knows it was hard. And I live in Broward where it happened. I live not far from where it happened. And so understanding just how polarizing the entire situation is. And then today to learn that same police officer that didn't do jack, and them kids got his job back with back pay, because an arbitrator got his job back with back pay. But anyway, to make disparaging comments about that, yeah, it absolutely, Troy, is cancel culture, because that was those people, advertisers advertise with you because their views are in alignment with their company. And the moment that stops, they're gonna drop you. It's just like athletes.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not.
So yeah, that's culture, cancel culture. But I think there's two types of cancel culture that's out there, and it's the toxic one that people are doing it just for social media, just to be polarizing, just to do it. Like with Horace's example, there are people who have figured it out and they use it as a narrative. So yeah, I'll play the bad guy here, but I know back here I'm finna get millions. Really?
Well, yep. Oh shit, that was a comment in ringside. Oh, that was Jeff. But no, that was the reason why I brought that up, because you see that happening a lot with different radio hosts or TV actors, whatever. They make the wrong statement or they say the wrong thing politically or whatever. Advertisers, they have that right. They can say, you know what, feel how you want to feel. We just don't want to be associated with your image. We don't want to be associated with your name. It doesn't mean that they are doing it because they think this person's going to go broke, go off there. It just means like, look, I just don't want my name associated with you. I know you're still going to do you. I just don't want any part of it. And Laura Ingram, I do remember, I forgot the exact number, but she lost a lot of sponsors.
Tucker Carlson just recently this year lost a lot.
Yeah. Well, we kind of deserved it anyway, but that's
I mean, he's been systematically losing sponsors and stuff from his show over the past couple of years, but especially within the last year.
What do y'all think about Paula Deen? Remember that she was canceled too.
Ooh, boy, when they canceled Paula Deen.
Now,
I think that hurt more black people when Paula Deen was canceled, because they just knew she was one of them, and I was just like, wow.
But Snoop Dogg saved her. Now, isn't he doing a show with her now or something?
No, he's doing this with Martha Stewart.
That's Martha Stewart. Oh, you know all
that's Martha Stewart.
Okay.
That's Martha Stewart.
Okay, wrong.
Martha went to jail for the same thing that white men been doing for years. They just made an example out of her. She went to jail for insider trading.
What was she doing again? Oh, inside trading.
Insider trading.
A lot of people are doing inside
Correct.
trading. But
somebody we got a high-ranking Senate official that just, and they just was like, oh no, she didn't do it. Lies. Okay, but anyway. But the whole concept of cancel culture, I think there's two sides to cancel culture that we're talking about here. There's a side that there's true activism behind, I'm not supporting this. And I have a reason for why I'm not supporting this. And that's what Piff was saying versus what Jeff and Horace are talking about, which is you really don't have a reason to cancel because you're just doing it for social media because it's going to get you out there because everybody's trying to go viral for some reason. And they realize that doing stuff for shock value to be polarizing is the way to go. And it's like, sometimes it works and sometimes it don't.
People, like I said, people do that. And then what the thing is, people post memes and go with it, don't even know what that. There's been times that people have heard something about a policy or something that an artist is going through or something, and I ask them about it, and they do not have any idea what's going on. It's so sad. But I could beat a dead horse about that. I just let people look stupid. Sometimes I post something, and I just let people go in the comments back and forth. I'm like, they are so stupid. I just let them. And I just let them. And I let people message me going, who are these people you associate with? I said, just let them. It's funny.
Yeah.
Give an idiot enough rope, they'll hang himself. Hopefully they'll stop posting on social media.
I don't think so. I think social media has given people a platform and the ability to hide.
And a voice.
But a lot of these people who are all about this cancel culture life and who are all about this, like Troy says it all the time, these keyboard crips and these bandwidth bloods, they get out here and they feel safe hiding behind Al Gore's internet.
Keyboard gangsters.
Right. They feel safe hiding behind Al Gore's internet. And then guess what ends up happening? When you meet them in real life, they ain't got nothing to say. They don't have nothing to say because they don't really, it's like this anonymity of social media. That's why you got folks that have these grayed out avatars, never got a real picture of themselves, or they got a picture of somebody else because they catfishing somebody else's life or whatever, and they hiding behind all these other people. And it's like, I agree with Oliver here. You can't fix stupid. You just can't. And you can't, there's nothing you can do about these people who just want to hide. Just don't give them energy. I just sit there and look at it. Like somebody just said to me the other day, they would rather vote for a potato than Joe Biden. That says more about you than me.
I'm gonna tell you
I'm not going to give you no energy because I knew they did that to get a response out of me. I just didn't answer.
What if Mike Tyson said that he said social media has made it possible for people to say the dumbest shit in the world that in real life they would get punched in the face for?
Yep. But I was gonna say this is something else. On social media, on Twitter, I notice a lot of times I say things that people might not agree with, whether it's a Ariana Grande fan or whoever, or it could be a politician. I notice that the person replying has a picture of whatever they're standing, replying to me. And my first response to them is always, I'm not arguing with someone who has a picture that is not them.
Correct.
It's like I said something about Ariana Grande the other day, and all these people started going off on me, and they all had pictures of Ariana Grande. And I said, if you don't take your little Nickelodeon ass off my page, or was she Disney Channel? What'd she come up on? Was she Nickelodeon? I said, if you don't take good, I said the right thing. I said, if you don't take your Nickelodeon ass off my mentions, and you're bored, you're talking about Ariana. I said, and you don't have a picture of yourself. Bye. I'm not going to entertain it because they know that if it's probably some 14-year-old kid who dropped out of high school who's bored, you know, and some valley girl, and they know that I will rip them apart or report their page.
I don't even answer those people. To be honest, I have actually said, y'all saw me say this. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I put a post up and I said, I'm going to start reporting. I'm going to put you on blast, and I'm going to tag the person, the original person, so they know that this is somebody that's using your pictures, trying to be you in my DMs. I'm not having it anymore. I'm just at that point in my life where I don't have time for the nonsense. I'm not getting drawn into the foolishness. Be who you are. If you got the cojones to be on the internet, and I meant internet, not internet, the internet, act showing your natural behind in whatever color facet it is, be bold enough to show who you are and be proud. You bold and proud by what you say.
Or my favorite.
Picture you.
Or Dr. H, my favorite, when they say something provocative and then when they get called out on it. I was just kidding. I was just, why are you being
so you got called out on it. You weren't kidding when you said it. You knew you had full intent.
I'd be like, oh, you were kidding.
Well, that happens all the time.
I was just saying, well, why are you taking this so seriously? You can't take a joke. Or they put a status up knowing they talking about you. And I don't say nothing. I just, people message me, like, oh, someone's talking about you. And that at button is right there at the top of the keyboard. Do it. Right. Until then, I don't care. But people will do that. And I'm like, if you want to broke the subliminal status, that's fine. Poor thing.
I mean, so a lot of people use social media to sneak diss and passive aggressive. I mean,
it's ridiculous. I'll say
it's very unhealthy. People use it in an unhealthy way. I don't fault the platforms or technology because there's a lot of good being done there. It's how people choose to use it. Just like cancel culture. Troy gave a great example, the Montgomery Bus Boycott. You would think as a Black person, well, why would you want to boycott it? But there's a lot of people who didn't. There's always a movement. It's Black, all skin folk and kinfolk. There's a lot of people who don't support a lot of initiatives and movements. Because when y'all be talking about don't buy gas, I already done gassed up. I won't go buy no gas no way. That's not changing my opinion. When y'all be over here talking about we only going to buy Black owned, let's be realistic here, because I was in a group and it was smart. You can't realistically buy 100% of everything you own Black owned, because that's just not realistic, because some part of that product is going to come from somebody that's not Black. Like, come on, let's be realistic. Well, can you buy the majority? Like, you can buy half the products that you buy that Black owned?
China.
100%. And but you're going to tell me I'm canceled as a Black person because I'm not buying Black owned 100% of the time? If you get your...
Yeah, I quit that argument a long time ago. I look at it like, as far as supporting Black-owned business, I do agree to support Black-owned business, which means if I need of something, a tax service or a graphic artist or whatever, I will look to see the Black people I know first. But if they're not available or if they get bad reviews, I have no problem going elsewhere. But teach his own. But that's a separate
But I think the point behind cancel culture is confusing to a lot of people. I think if it's confusing to us, it's definitely going to be confusing to other people who are trying to use it. Like, literally, it's amazing to see other people try to use cancel culture, and it's just kind of like, that is not how it works. that's not how it works. But I don't think they understand. I really don't. I sit there and I look at it and I'm like, that's not cancel culture. I don't understand.
What I glean in what Dr. H, what you and Jeffrey alluded to earlier, which I agree with. At the end of the day, you have to ask. You have to wonder, what is your motivation? Is your motivation just simply, I'm trying to make this person lose money, or is just more so like, I just don't want to be associated?
I make one post about it and move on, and I don't even respond. People disagree with me. I don't even. I just say, okay, I said what I said. Most of it is something that's pro-black, so a lot of my white friends get upset, and I'm like, well, you need to hear this.
Right.
So I think for some people, yes. I mean, it's anything on social media. Yeah, a lot of people are doing it because they need the likes and the hearts to keep them from swallowing a bullet. Some people need that to keep them being depressed. They need likes. You get 50 likes, I feel good about myself.
Or they want someone to think that they're doing something great by supporting a cause. So and I always say that, but
it's like I'm not gonna paint with the same paintbrush. I'm not gonna generalize. Some people are very stupid and spurious with their activism, and other people really want their voices heard. Like Epiphany said, it's like some people really are doing this because they feel like any other way you're not hearing me. You're not hearing what's important to me, and you're not hearing why this matters to me. So I have to leave.
There's a way to do it though. There's the people, and then there's some people when you disagree with their status, they block you or they dismiss you. And I'm like, no, I'm showing a different perspective. But like on my vacation, and I had a close friend of mine steal, and I was not putting a subliminal status up. I was making a comment about stealing and how trifling it is. That person came at me and was like, "Are you talking about me?" And I said I was. However, I was not talking about you specifically because anyone knows me, I'm savage. I will. The old Jeff would have made a post about you, posted your picture, and said this nigga steals. Sorry, I don't like that word, but I needed it in that context. But in this case, I was just saying, look, there are good people in this world. Why do you need to result to that? Because there are hard times out here. People do steal. Don't steal from me.
Right. Piff. Get it. Okay, so we've heard us a lot about cancel culture and fake outrage. What do you think? Where do you see cancel culture going, especially as other races, especially as white people get a hold of cancel culture and try to use it? Where do you see cancel culture going?
I think it's a machine. I don't ever see it ending. I think it may morph into something different, right? I know it's going to morph into something different, and here's why. It's very indicative of what's going on in the United States. We have our leader that does not like TikTok, right? So
he doesn't like what?
He does not like TikTok. Okay, so
I don't either. Well, but for different reasons. I just think people do too much on there. That's all. But his reason is different. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use Twitter, and I don't use TikTok. It is what it is. But everyone has some, there's something for everyone. If you like to type, there's Twitter. If you like to take pictures, there's Instagram. If you want to get on and you want to dance or you want to do something funny or you have a hack or whatever, you use TikTok. And I think the forced sale or the forced agreement with an American company for TikTok because someone outsmarted you, right? At something that you just didn't see coming. I just think that it's a machine. So basically, he cancel culture TikTok or force them into an agreement with an American company that may not have been forced to do so had he not been outsmarted. I think that it's an authoritarian tactic where cancel culture is. It's becoming that. And so you have to kind of be careful with what you're doing. Again, we all make choices. So if we choose to flow downstream with everyone else, hopefully you know why you're flowing down the stream. And if you don't, you don't. I mean, I can't I don't lose sleep at night because someone doesn't know why they're canceling Ariana Grande or or whoever.
What did Ariana? Okay, I keep hearing her name. What did she do?
No, I didn't.
No. I was pissed. I was just pissed with her that she did a music video with Lady Gaga because I like Ariana Grande. But I was very upset about that, and I'm
That's
only
an amazing song though.
Huh?
But anyway, I love the song. But I'm just saying, I just think that
this is hermaphrodite cunt. But yeah, so regardless, I get it.
So what I'm saying
Flag
is
him.
it's going to become.
That's what Lady Gaga is.
I think it's going to become something that we never thought that it would become, and it is going to be. I feel like it could be that we're going to be forced to cancel things that we may not want to cancel. And you got to, like I said, you just kind of got to be careful and kind of be cognizant of, going with the grain and all this stuff. I think that you being self-aware is very important these days. And, kind of being like, well, why am I doing this? Question yourself. Don't just question everyone else. I think that's the issue, is we're all questioning everyone else. And we're not really questioning ourselves as to why I'm questioning something. You know what I'm saying? I love to be asked questions, but when you're questioning someone else all the time and you never reflect and never process what you're doing, then there's no way for you to improve. So that's what I think.
All right.
That's good. I really think so. I think that's a great assessment on the whole point of cancel culture, where it's going. I think it's a great recommendation too. At the end of the day, it's like Tanya says, when you make a decision to cancel whatever it is, you don't need to publicize it. It's your personal choice. Why does it need to be out there? And I think that, again, as we've outlined it tonight, people do it for all the wrong reasons. But if you're canceling for your reason, you ain't got to tell nobody. Unless that, but there are some people who feel really strongly about it, especially if it's something that could be damaging to the community. But if it's something personal, like Piff said earlier, it's a store that she won't patronize, or any stores connected to it. I'm the same way, but guess what? I'm not going to go out here and say I don't patronize this business or anybody who's doing business with this because why? But now if somebody comes to me directly and asks for a reference about my experience with a certain business, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to give you the nitty gritty and tell you the truth. What you do with that information is on you, but I'm not going to blast it like that. Now, if I tell you otherwise, to leave me alone, and you keep pushing, then I'm going to put you on blast because you don't have no manners and you don't know how to understand and respect my boundaries. And maybe that's the only thing that you respond to. But as it relates to this, I think that there's a way that you can be able to communicate what you communicate. But we are in a society where Jeff and Horace has said it earlier, the internet, specifically social media, has emboldened people who lack common sense and knowledge to just say the most debased, ignorant, unsubstantiated things, and they go viral. And all of it is so they can go viral. But then some of them can't even capitalize on going viral. So it's like, well, what did you go viral for? Because you ain't doing nothing with it. Versus those who it don't make sense. So I think
people like Rolling Ray
culture is. What'd you say, Jeff?
Like Rolling Ray in DC, he did dumb stuff. He ended up on divorce court. Everyone knows me and Rolling Ray do not get along.
Off on this guy, Rolling. I can't with you.
Everybody knows me and beefing on social media for 3 years. I won't comment further, but I will give it to him. He took advantage of it with his ignorant ass, and I can't get mad at him.
Right.
He did. And that's a good point. But he says and does the most, just like the other day, he had a Kobe Bryant jersey on with a wig and a wheelchair.
Right.
I hate the Lakers. He's never too much for me, but he's doing it.
People do stuff for, again, like you guys said earlier, they do it for shock value. Some people are using cancel culture for shock value. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like Jeff said earlier, if you can't give an explanation as to why you're canceling something, then I can't take you seriously, and you shouldn't be using cancel culture.
Yeah,
you need to be canceled. I'm sorry. Like, and I'm not here for it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you ignorant, it's somebody in my comments that we laughed about it earlier when I put up the show, the advertising for the show. And I said, yeah, this person can absolutely be canceled because their behavior is unacceptable. This is probably the only person that can be canceled. If you don't have acceptable behavior, absolutely go sit down somewhere. And there's a reason. And if somebody asked me, I would say, this is why this person is canceled in my book. You might not cancel them, and that's on you. But I'm canceling them for this reason. Why? Because this is my space. I'm creating boundaries that allow me to live and breathe and be happy and function without drama and foolishness and stupidness. And I sleep good at night knowing that I did this for me and nobody else. I didn't do it for the internet to go viral or for any other reason, because I don't need that kind of validation. I think that people who use cancel culture specifically just to get a rise out of other people do it because, like Troy said, they need it to keep a bullet out of their head, out of their mouth. But also, they need. There's a lot of people out there that need the internet for validation, and I'm just not one of those people. None of these people here are any of those people.
90% of the time, though.
What you say?
Because of shock value.
Yeah.
That's 90% of the time, though. Listen, I said it's not everything. Nothing's 100%. Just like when Dr. H did her little thing, and them Nigerians were in her inbox.
I hate
one of those was really a Nigerian king, but she won't know because she got her walls up. Who's to say one of them was Nigerian king or prince that was coming to take care of Dr. H?
If you're Nigerian prince and king and you're using a guy's picture here in the United States who lives in Dallas, Texas, and this is what he does for business. I'm not gonna put his business out there because I know what he does, and I've met him personally, and I've sat underneath him and did some classes with him. If you're using this man's picture and 3 of you are using this man's pictures, you ain't got nothing for me because you are a liar. And you lying about who you are. You can't even put your real picture up there. You are a liar, and I got nothing for you. So you go ahead on with that Nigerian prince.
Coming to America.
No.
What the hell did I miss?
Right, his foolishness, and I will cancel you in my DMs. I will cancel the sugar babies and the sugar daddies in my DMs talking about I will pay you $300 just for your time. What? What? I will cancel you here in my DMs talking about buying spells and voodoo. Because guess what?
Her DM was popping. It was coming to America for a whole month.
It's still coming to America, and some folks here in America, and I'm still canceling. I need boundaries, space over here. My boundaries are my boundaries, and you go be all right.
I'm totally lost, but it's all good.
Horace?
Troy, listen.
I mean, Nigeria has a lot of princes. There's a lot of.
She said that she is lit. We don't
listen. My DMs used to be dry as the Sahara. Now it's crazy stuff in there.
Look, Dr. H, you did this the other day. Let me show you. Let me take my hair down real quick.
What did I do the other day?
Wait, she was like this. Did y'all see it? She was like,
I saw it.
I'm so glad that my hair grows.
Yeah, I was like, Dr. H is thirst trapping. I saw you. I was like, I saw
100. Yep.
And I was like, let Dr. H shine because
I forgot what I think I was in bed scrolling on IG like I do, and I just saw all that shine all in my face, just all in there. I was like, God damn.
And then you were like, I'll tell you about what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, Jet Beauty. I'm like, what does they say? What's slang? Is that what the kids say? Slang?
I mean, I know from back in the day that song, How You Do That Dance. So
y'all, I'm gonna let y'all have your moment. I'm gonna let y'all have it.
America.
This hair been laid, baby. This week, this hair been laid. So I'm gonna let y'all have it because I want everybody to see this hair laid. Good and healthy. It's okay. It's okay.
Coming to America.
In a couple months when this body get right, y'all gonna see that too, and it's all right. I'm gonna put all of this in stride.
That's when we should have an in-person show with all 5 of us. I think that would be bomb.
Boy, y'all better be ready for it. That's all I'm gonna say.
we get you a good outfit.
I'm gonna talk to you later. I'm gonna be in Orlando soon. How far are you from Orlando?
You always know much. You're gonna be somewhere. And then
No,
you
no, no. I
I
plane tickets. I will
Don't
send.
come to Orlando. It's COVID time.
Oh please! Speaking of cancel culture,
Here we go.
I went to Atlanta and I got a lot of hate mail for my stories and saying I was there. People saying, "Oh, don't come back to DC," all that. Well, I posted my results that I don't have COVID, and I noticed everyone was very quiet.
It's too early to detect.
Right.
Oh please! Oh, save it.
Forrest, don't do this. Don't do this to yourself, okay? Don't do this. Don't do this to yourself, okay?
He was all over the place. I said, Lord, not the COVID.
Jeff was everywhere. And I can tell you, during that week that he was in Atlanta on vacation, I swear people were canceling Jeff because he didn't have a mask. Just because he showed you a picture with a mask on, don't mean the child didn't have a mask on. He had a mask on in the airport, but ain't nobody talk about that airport picture with the mask.
I was in my timeshare and half the pictures, and they were like, "Oh, where's your mask?" I have a bar in there with a private bartender stuff. Like, come on now, yeah.
But I think that people. Here's the thing, and we're gonna wrap it up. But here's the thing: I think people will cancel something that they can't wrap their mind around. A lot of people can't. They probably look at Jeff and can't wrap their mind around how he's able to do what he does. Oh, where did he get the money for this? You know what I mean? Like, people will look at you and stereotype you. He just had a situation where a woman stereotyped him and he had no idea what she was talking about, but she stereotyped him assuming that he was a drug dealer.
What happened? People stereotype as well.
I don't want this about me, but yesterday, 2 days ago, I went to go to the store, and she was a black lady at this, and I went to her store, and she said, "Hey, yo, you got any gas?" I said, "Yeah, I do, but I'm almost on empty. Do you need a ride?" And she went, "No, gas." I said, "I speak English. I know what gas is." And she said, "Ooh." I said no, and she blatantly came out her mouth. And mind you, I just come from the gym, I had LA Fitness stuff. I had my tank on and my do-rag and stuff. And she was like, "Well, assuming by the way you look, I thought you had some bum at the best weed in the area." I said, "Okay." And that's exactly why you work at Pizza Hut. Good night.
Oh my God.
But that just shows how ignorant she is. You know, I was not offended, but it just showed like how much further we have to go.
Right. But that's why, okay.
I said it because it was ignorant. So I made an ignorant comment back. I had
to work on that. But
no.
But these are the things that people,
it's too soon.
But these are the things that Jeff gets canceled for. If you follow him on Twitter, if you follow him, especially on Twitter, if you follow him on Facebook and Instagram, on Facebook and Twitter, you'll see the stuff and why people go back and forth and constantly at him. And I can only imagine what his DMs and text messages are like, because I just look at Twitter and I'm just like, are we adults or are we like, what are we? Because like some of the questions that people ask are like, but are we adults or what are we? And they'll cancel you. He'll get canceled like 50 times a day on social media, between his social media, and it's like, but the same people will turn around and say, "Well, what's happening?" and reach out to him to want to know, well, what's happening? What's the big thing that's going on? It's like you can't cancel somebody and then turn around and want what they got. Like that, that's not how cancel culture works. But that's how people are doing it. It's like,
we've all been through it.
You
might not notice directly if you think we've all been through it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I know I've been through it. It's trust me, I've been through it.
No, I've seen.
I've been canceled, and I'm just like, okay.
I don't know. I was kind of Troy had posted something a week or two ago, and I was kind of egging it on. Troy was going back. This woman just kept going off on Troy. I kept laughing at all her comments. I know you saw that, Troy. And I'm just like, why are you so mad? Why do you get mad? I just like, what are you so mad about?
You know, the thing that
if y'all not at ringside, it goes down. I'm gonna need y'all to go join ringside.
But just like we were going back, we were talking about social media. I have to acknowledge the fact that these debates for right now are on social media. But anybody, and I do mean anybody who's ever actually been to our live events, nothing like it. I mean, our live events are dope. Our live events have been crazy. They've been fun, informative. But as far as trolling, people have never trolled. I mean, You troll me at a live event, you say the wrong thing, I just got to walk 5 feet over and I can chin check you right there. On social media, I don't have that luxury. But at our live events, people aren't that crazy. People aren't that flippant, or they're not trolling at a live event. It's just because it's social media. Social media gives them that bulletproof glass to where they can take shots and they can't be hit back.
Right.
So it's just I've accepted the reality of it.
Yeah, it is what it is. And I think that here we are. You know, when I say we need to cancel culture, I'm talking about the toxic side where folks are just using it just to be using it, and you don't really have a reason to be canceling stuff. Because you can't cancel somebody and then turn around and reach out and want to use them. That's not how this works.
Well,
that's not how any of this works.
Well,
and doing it just for the internet, you're defeating the purpose, and you don't really understand it. And I think that's why we have that confusion. And when I read that article, when I saw it on Twitter, I just was like, y'all don't really understand cancel culture. That's not how this works. Folks on the job talking about, oh, you're canceled. This is canceled. This is canceled. That's canceled.
I was like, shut up.
Right. And that's how it's. That's not how this works. That's not what cancel culture is. That's not what cancel culture is. Talking about, oh no, you're canceled. You're canceled. You're canceled. And then turn around and be like, oh, I need you. Oh no, but I'm canceled.
You know, at this point, it's just become a catchphrase.
It is.
For some
it's
people,
like toxic masculinity.
You know, it's a catchphrase, and it's like, you know what, just wear it down to the nub, and then hopefully in 2021, if we see 2021, hopefully people won't be saying it, and they'll just go back to their regular scheduled programming.
It'll be an entanglement.
Man, that definitely has to be one of the most overused words of this year. Everybody's in an entanglement now. Everything is an entanglement.
You're seeing it in news articles. Everybody's using it. I'm like, y'all got your SAT word for the year, didn't y'all?
Oh no.
Yeah, everybody's using it. People have. Okay, whatever. But yeah, that's definitely a played out word at this point.
It is. It is. Y'all, it was a great night talking about cancel culture and what it is, what is not, where it started. The fact of the matter is cancel culture, as we explained it earlier in the show, it isn't new. It's been around. Troy talked about the Montgomery Bus Boycott. You know, someone here in the comments were talking about, you know, it's been around since there was the printing press. The media's always used it as headlines and different things to get a rise out of people in a response. And, you know, Reginald was true. No one has ever really used the term before until social media really started pushing and you really started hearing cancel culture and what it is. There's been whole dialogues on Twitter about cancel culture and how toxic it has become because we're abusing it. We're not really using it in its full intent or power as it was originally, like with boycotts and different things to further a cause or a mission or a point, or even like we've learned tonight that with Tanya and Piff and myself, where it's private, it's nobody's business if I choose to cancel you, or if I choose to not patronize a business, or if I choose not, it's my personal choice, and that's okay. But I think that the moment you decide to get on Al Gore's internet and publicize your cancel, you open yourself up to whatever backlash is going to come with that. You need to be prepared for that. Because them internet people, Troy get some color at the end of the show.
I hate my bad. I am so sorry I was denying all y'all all this pretty.
I'm trying to say, you got somebody in the comments though trying to figure out if you're single. We're gonna talk about it offline. But cancel culture is in its original form, it's not toxic. But in this context of people using it just to bait people or for, you know what I mean, for likes and to go viral, it's toxic because, again, people are now using it on the job. I've seen an article, like I said, white people are talking about, oh, this is canceled, that's canceled, but you don't really understand what cancel culture is. There's something behind it, And you got to do more research rather than just hearing, like Troy said, a buzzword or a phrase, and you don't really understand the context. It's Black people that don't understand cancel culture. It's everybody out here wanting to cancel something, and you don't even know what you're canceling or why. You can't give a true explanation to validate why you cancel it. So why not do like Piff and me and Tanya and just keep it to yourself?
Because not everybody's like that. Everybody
that's what that reality is.
People need to run to the top of the mountaintop and let everybody know, the same way, which annoys the shit out of me, when people want to leave a group, they got to make a post about it and say, look, I'm leaving this group.
Okay.
And I'm leaving this group. Like, you could have just left the group.
No, because they want to let it be known that, oh, I'm above y'all. Or they want attention.
Right.
Well, that's what I mean.
What it is, it's like when that person blocks you and they say, "Hey, I'm blocking you."
Bye.
It's kind of like that thing where it's kind of like, I want you. No, it is an attention-seeking behavior, but it's also them questioning themselves as to whether or not they should be doing what they're doing.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the mind of a human, but everyone has their own thing that they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of these people who are canceling, again, like the people who hide behind the internet and cancel culture and any other hashtag that they see, there's some insecurity there, and they're seeking validation. They're seeking a lot of stuff that at the end of the day, when you reach the end of the road, you're still not getting what you're looking for, because there's something inside you that you got to deal with that's not fulfilled, and you're looking for value. If you're looking for validation and likes and hearts and going viral, you're missing there's so much more fragmented about you that you're missing, that you need to get some help. And you can hire me as a coach to help you, or you can go get you a therapist and lay on somebody's sofa and either way talk it out and get you some tips that's really going to help you move forward in life and be whole as a person, and not be fragmented, needing and thirsting for likes and hearts and validation on the internet from people who may not even be a real person, but might be some type of bot. And you're buying.
We're going to deal with thirst and people being attention starved. That's always going to be the case.
Right.
It's always going to be the case. But at the end of the day, it's like we can't reject the reality that cancel culture is there. It's been given a new name, but it's always been there. It was there long before social media. Because I had to ask. I didn't make a post about it, but I had to ask friends of mine, like, how many people still using Goya seasoning?
I ain't.
Well, I haven't used Goya since.
Let me tell y'all something. Do y'all know there's a brand called Iberia? Oh my God, I got some. Listen, IBERIA, and baby, I went and got me some pigeon peas for my pigeon peas and rods. Woo! If you don't want to sit here and dry some pigeon peas and soak them overnight, get you a can of Iberia pigeon peas and make you some pigeon peas and rice. But anyway, it's other brands other than Goya. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. They're not paying me for that. But go ahead.
I brought the example because I was like, is that some people I view that as boycott, but other people may look at that as cancel culture. But if you're someone who has been a faithful, servant or whatever of Goya season, then all of a sudden the president says something that you don't like, then they start noticing. Even they covered it even on CNN. They talked about how all these people are divesting from Goya. All these people who were lifelong users of Goya no longer buying Goya. And it's like, okay, that's when it's all said and done, that's their prerogative. If they don't feel, if anybody, I don't care if it's a seasoning of music, movie, if people don't feel comfortable supporting something because of something that the person at the top, the face of the organization said, that is their prerogative. I do agree that people take it a step further when they have to write a long thesis on Facebook to let everybody know how they feel. That's just being, to me, it's like, okay, you want to be extra. That's
just don't lie. Don't be writing all that, because I ain't trying to read all of that.
Right. I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like, that's your Facebook page. If you want to write all that, I'm like, everything that's longer than War and Peace. That's a long ass, story you just wrote. But when it's all said and done, that is their personal choice. People are not going to spend money or support something if they don't feel confident, if they don't feel supported, they don't feel appreciated, they don't even feel humanized. They look at it like, well, if I don't feel this way, then what is promoting me to get myself in my car, drive to the store, and buy this product?
Right.
You know, so it is what it is. I just look at it like we may not always agree on what people do, but it's a personal choice. It is what it is.
Right. I think so. Go ahead, Piff. You want to say something?
You know, I just think people are going to be people. Let them show you who they are.
Yeah. It is. When people show you who they are, you just got to believe them. And that's the reality.
Maya Angelou said that. That was Maya Angelou, right?
Yeah. So it's just at the end of the day, you just gotta, you know, people can only hide who they are, but for so long. Just wait it out. Wait long enough. If it's a bot, it's a bot. You know, if they really about that life, they're gonna be persistent. If not, you know what I mean? You're gonna find out real truth. If they really about what they say they cancel, you're gonna see it. You're gonna know. Most of the time, you'll know straight out the gate if they're doing it just for likes and hearts. Otherwise, you know what I mean? You're gonna know. You really know a person's passion comes through, even on the internet. Horace, you want to say anything before we go?
No, just thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on the panel with you guys.
You guys read that, Horace, the other day. Y'all did that.
Yeah, it was a little.
I made sure I shared it and stuff, and I had people message me saying, "How do you tune into that every week?" I said, "Just turn on live notifications." So
yeah, appreciate you. So thank you guys for having me on.
Y'all did that.
D. Horace T, last of the BBCs, king of the RNS. Thank you for having me.
Wait. I don't want to.
Do not engage.
Wait a minute.
Marketing.
Because I know what that means.
But I don't know what that means.
Don't worry about it.
Just damn it.
Y'all, okay. Code Red will be back. When is Code Red back, Jeff? Okay, stay tuned for when Code Red will be back. Y'all join Ringside on Facebook. Find it. They actually have. You guys have a radio show. What season are y'all on?
We have a new person joining us.
If you want to listen to the podcast, go to www.ipushradio.com and you'll find Ringside. You can listen to all of season 1 of the podcast, and season 2 is coming out real soon. But just real quick, and I won't take up too much. I would advise everybody, all the panelists and everyone listening, if you can go to your Google and type in National Civil Rights Museum and Jacqueline Smith. Just Google that and you'll see what you see. I grew up in Memphis. I'm from Memphis. And for the people that don't know, people know that there's a National Civil Rights Museum there. I've been to it several times. There was a woman, Jacqueline Smith, who camped out outside for 30 years because she was protesting the creation of turning the Lorraine Motel where Dr. King was shot and turning it into a museum. She protested because she felt that it besmirched his legacy. She is an example, I would say, of cancel culture, but not cancel culture in the sense of getting likes, getting validations, because she passed away, but she literally camped out across the street for it was over 30 years. I forget, it was 31, 32 years, something like that. But at the end of the day, people have their convictions. Right. We don't have to agree with we don't have to understand. I do think as mature adults, it's best to just respect it. Like, look, I can respect your conviction. I don't agree with it. I don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, but I respect that you have that much ferocity behind that you're willing to sleep across the street in a tent and a lawn chair for 30 plus years. You've had 2 presidents come by, meet and greet you because you don't agree with what happened to the Civil Rights Museum. That's more than just likes and validation. That woman had conviction and she died. She died across the street.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But
that's powerful. Now that's a powerful council statement.
Right. And so I think that anybody who's from Memphis knows it, because I've taken pictures with her. I've met her a couple of times. But anybody from Memphis knows exactly who she is and knows that she was not having it. She was not in agreement with the National Civil Rights Museum, and she made her statement known big time. And she died.
Right. That's powerful.
Thanks, Troy. I never heard of that.
Me neither.
Yeah, just Google it. Just Google it. It's out there.
Right. And finally, the Horace Towns has a podcast with his brothers called The Black Super Friends.
I love y'all.
Thank y'all.
You got to tune in to believe it.
Horace, I did listen to that show, the one you told me about with Kamala Harris. I did listen to it.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it.
And sparks were flying. Y'all were on it. Sparks were flying.
Right. The Black Super Friends. That's all I'm telling you. Need to tune into it. You can hear it on. I just saw you guys on Spotify now, Anchor FM. They have a YouTube channel, so check them out. The Black Super Friends. Y'all can catch us here. The next show we're going dark. It's a night show, so it's in 2 weeks on a Friday night.
Do we know what
we're
topic
going dark?
Let Troy pick
Thank
the
you,
topic.
Tanya. We appreciate you. We appreciate
Let Troy pick it. Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to buy my baby oil tomorrow.
Oh,
I can't stand you.
You
know what? I'm gonna send you a list of oils to help you out with your skin. Okay. Anyway, Clyde, Marcus, Tanya. Who else we had tonight? Reggie, we love you always. Corby, thank you for shining and coming on with us. Brenda. Who else we had on tonight? Francine, thank you for joining us. Let's see, Marche, I think he was in here earlier tonight. Lisa, thank you so much. Who else? We had our usual regular people. I think Candy's Skiggy logged in late because she didn't get off work till late. But we want to thank you guys so much.
Shout out to essential workers. Shout out to essential workers. And
absolutely. We got people out there putting their lives on the line every single day. We want to thank you all so much for what you're doing. And this might be unpopular, but deal with it. Wear masks. And that's all I got to say on tonight. I might get canceled for that, but it'll be all right.
I don't want to hear that.
Calm it on down. Bring it back, bro.
Thank y'all so much, and we'll see y'all on the next show in 2 weeks. We're going dark, 10 p.m. October 2nd, and we'll let y'all know what the show is going to be about. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time.